Moors, right? And Africa, or African, is the geographical location, not the identity. So Africans are Moors, right? The amazing phenomena about the African Moors in Spain is that they extended their rule for 200 years from 1285 to 1485 in Granada, when in all other parts of Spain, the Arab Moors had already been driven out by the Christian Spaniards in 1285. The African Moors, the first to enter Spain in 711, were in fact the last to leave in 1485, which was only 7 short years before an African Moor named Pietro Alonso Nino became captain of the flagship Santa Maria.
It's a big one.
Right, so in 1485, which was only 7 short years after an African Moor named Pietro Alonso Nino became captain of the flagship Santa Maria, which was the lead ship of the expedition that Cristobal Colon commanded at Asmarante Admiral. Right, and where it says Cristobal Colon, it has 2 asterisks there. So the asterisk. This was the original name of the man called Christopher Columbus in the history books of the United States of America. The African who sailed the ship on which Colon served as admiral and explorer was born in what is today called Morocco. There are certain basic facts which one must remember about this period of history when the Africans ruled the Iberian Peninsula. Spain was captured by the African general Tariq quite a few years before the arrival of the Arab Moors in Spain. And history is quite definite in its description that Tariq was a quote-unquote black man. Just as any other black man, one is subject to see on the streets of the United States of America who is being called Negro and other such names not of this making or selection. General Tariq was the first of the Moors to capture the first part of the Iberian Peninsula. So he said that General Tariq is a black man, just like any other black man, right, that you would see on the streets of North America, that people are going to classify as Negro, but he didn't go back and say General Tariq was the first black man that accomplished the feat of 711 AD. He said General Tariq was the first of the Moors. And there's a reason why he has black man in quote unquotes in the book. Because that's not the real identity. Dr. Ben's telling us this now. It's not what I'm saying.
What did he say Christopher Columbus's name was again?
Cristobal Colon. Crstobal Colon. Cristobal Colon. Right. He accomplished his feat in the year 711. He had also fought against the Arab Muslims. So there's Arab Moors, and then now there's Arab Muslims now. Right? This is how. This is, they're talking about who he fought against before he was able to capture. Right? what they would say Spain in 711, when it wasn't even Spain at that time. Right? He had also fought against the Arab Muslims from Arabia in 680. This before his own capture by them and his subsequent conversion to Islam to save his own life and to maintain his status as a general. With the African Moors and Arab Moors in Spain, the inter-Christian Muslim marriages and conversions of Christians to the Muslim faith became widespread, just as it was to be expected when any conqueror enters any conquered people's homeland. In simple words, the Africans and Asians interbred and amalgamated with the European population they met on the Iberian Peninsula. Just as former indigenous Africans had done with Romans during the First and Second Punic Wars, or with the Anglo-Saxons during the reign of the African emperor of the Roman Empire, Septimus Severus. Right? So it's to stress the point that when Noble Drew Ali said that we're not Negro black colored, there was specific reasons for that from the perspective of law that nobody else ever considered. And if they did consider it, they considered it from a human rights perspective, which is right, but if there's also a declaration of indigenous rights, then you should be, because that's superior to human rights. Or they wouldn't make the distinguish, or it would just be one. When they say the UN Declaration of Rights, and then they have the rights of a child, but we know children are separate from adults, okay, like we could understand why they have rights of a child, right? And then it has rights of humans, right? So human rights, and then it has indigenous people's rights, right? So there's two sides to be played on the earth plane. You can be played with the human rights part, or you can play with the indigenous rights part. And the mistake that they always make is that they go for the human rights.
Well, there's nothing wrong with going for the human rights, but you have to go for the indigenous too.
Right, but one is superior.
Yeah. So when you
right,
it's jurisdictional. When you start playing the human rights game, it's
everybody's in on it.
Yeah, and it still wants to know what your nationality is.
Even in that.
And so if you could be playing the human rights card and be black,
but that's
then,
not, when they're talking about the rights of the indigenous people, those rights are to have a nationality. I think that's one of the first ones.
Right.
And black is not a nationality.
exactly.
Right.
So when you're playing black and going for human rights, you're not going to get nothing.
But see, but also the
It's
children,
a cover.
the rights of the child and the rights of the human rights says that everybody's entitled to a nationality, not just the indigenous one. All of them say everybody's entitled to a nationality.
And if you don't have one, then you're not going to get no rights. You're going to get some privileges.
And then that's why they started having the stateless conventions. So when you go to the UN now and you're looking up the Declaration of Rights, you look up the stateless conventions.
Stateless convention.
Yeah, conventions of statelessness.
Yeah, eh?
Right?
Conventions.
So they're gonna have a convention, the UN now, because remember that's supposedly the governing body, right, of the world, right? And this governing body is saying that we're gonna have a convention about the statelessness of citizens.
So these people without a nationality, this
Yeah,
is the
right.
this is the group
This is
that
the
is
group.
them.
Yeah, this is the group. So we're gonna have a convention about those group of people
Yeah.
that are stateless,
You got to know how to deal with them.
and that's only one group of people,
Yeah.
right? Because people don't play with not being stateless. like everybody is gonna gravitate to us. If when it goes down, certain people already know where they're going.
Yeah.
That's right.
Right? What shield they're gonna go behind. Right?
So when they're talking about these statelessness people, they're talking about the NBC.
That's the only people they could be talking
That's
about.
right.
You know?
It's a case of no history, so you don't make the mistakes that were made in history.
Right.
That history would be now the Germans and the Jews.
Right.
Germany told them the same thing. It's time to stand behind your shield. Who are you? They said, you're Jews. All right. Over here with you. There's no shield for that right now.
Yeah. We're not repping that.
Yeah.
Nothing personal.
Yeah.
But your nationality is the order of the day.
You called it upon yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right? Call it upon
Because
yourself.
a lot of those people, the Jews in those times, were born in Germany.
Sure.
Right.
They could have claimed German nationality. Jews is, what is that? A religion?
Yeah. Judaism is a religion, so Jews not even.
It's, yeah, it's like black.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's what is it?
Basically.
You know, that's why they have to have a convention to define what we do with this.
Yeah.
And sorry, go ahead.
No, it's true because they tell you that church and state is separate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So you could be a Jew, but what's your nationality? But if your nationality is a Jew, then you're out of the box.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You didn't claim nothing.
Yeah.
Right. And that was some of the things too that that Grand Chief Nature was talking about the fact that there has to be something tangible, so the NBCs could see that, okay, well, I guess I could give up the welfare, and I guess I could give up the handouts and the packages because your plan looks pretty good. Your plan looks like it could work, right? Because that's really what the temple structure is for. The temple structure is for you to be able to have a safe haven, right? While allowing you to be in society, doing what you do as an indigenous person. Whether you have, like you were saying, you have, Moors have newspaper, right? Like they shouldn't even have newspapers. The amount of Moors that there supposedly is. There's all these Moors out here. How come he has stacks of papers still? Right? How come papers aren't moving? Right? Because we're supposed to be unified as far as Moors are concerned. Because if I go ask any Moor, where's their flag, he's going to show me a Moroccan flag. Right? And if I go to any Moor, what's their national headwear, he's going to say, fez or turban. I say, okay, what's the seal of the Moor? He's going to show me the Circle 7. He's going to have a pendant or whatever. He's like, yeah, Circle 7. Right? He's going to say Islam. Okay, so that's unity right there. So we don't have to try to get unity because we're already, Noble Ali laid it all down already. We're unified. So what's the problem? The problem is that people aren't active. And if they are active, they're not getting support by the ones who aren't active, because the ones that aren't active think that the active ones are renegades.
They're renegades, yeah.
And they're trying to get people locked up, and they're trying to get people, right? When the active ones are the one that's enforcing the Constitution. Same thing like what Oscar Dupree said, right? Like the vote's not coming to you. You're gonna have to go to the poll station. Oh yeah, I know they got dogs down there, and I know they're hosing people and all that. But we're Moorish American. Why are you even worried about what they're doing to black people? Right? What are you worried about what they're doing to colored people? Right? Until I hear KKK say they hung that Moor on a tree, Like, I'm not